Well, hello traders and investors, I'm LA Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets and we're doing it from a neoclassical perspective. That means each day we ask ourselves what happened today, what does it tell us about the coming ones. I do this show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's archived on YouTube and Sunday channel LA Little. If you want to subscribe, get content, reach up on the right hand side, hit the subscribe button. Anytime I push content that is public, you'll get a notification. As far as what happened today, it was an up day. Huge space up on the Asian, in particular the European markets. We had a big spike there. If we pull up and just look at some of these, the Nikkei, these are tonight's quotes. They're just starting to come in. But you were up almost 2.5% on the Nikkei. The Shanghai was up maybe 1% or so, but the big moves were here in Europe. Here's the CAC, 3.5%. The DAX right above it here, 3.5%. Big spikes higher in the European markets. Of course, that's off the Brexit news, the expectation that Britain is going to vote to stay in the Union. And, they sold these down quite a ways. We can take a look at those charts, but just big bounces. We had follow through immediately here in our markets. We're up over 1%. Gap up, they sell it off, only 0.5% up higher, 0.5% on the NDX. Russell held decent gains, 3/4 gains on the NASDAQ, but a far cry from what it was to begin. And you have to look at that and ask yourselves, is there something else at work here? And technically it is. So let's take a look at that. So as I reviewed with members prior to the bell this morning, and as well in the weekend broadcast to members, we had a couple of important scenarios play out. The first in the bullish one was the case where the S&P coming back, right, had traded back into the retest regenerate. That's a bullish retest regenerate. And so if we draw that out here on the screen, you can see as you break over the swing point high. Now we've actually had 2 or 3 actually. You had one up here to start with. This one broke down. That said, hey, we're probably sideways, best case on this time frame for now, and we'll have to look elsewhere to see what happens. Well, elsewhere was the next bullish retest regen. And that was right into this area, and then you had another one nested up underneath it. Now to get through all of those as we tried to would be very difficult. And what really happened, because you're looking at the close, what really happened is it really held this second of the 3 and certainly the third of the 3. So this one holds, that one holds. So you have 3 bullish retest regens off of 3 broken swing point highs to the top side. So as it goes up, it comes back, they hold price, they try to push it back up, and that's what is attempting to be done now. Now to actually get higher price, what you really want to see in this scenario is you want to see the market trade over the swing point high that is being retested, right? Trying to regenerate off of. So in that case, that's this price point. And today it traded way over it, but it didn't stay up there. It actually closed back inside of it. And so if you're looking for the negative side of things, that's the negative case today. What's also negative is now that you've came down so far, you actually have a bearish retest regenerate as well. That's sitting here. And so what happened today? Pushed right up to the top, and this is what I told members on the weekend broadcast. Look for it to trade to this area, and it did it today. Right, immediately it spikes up to that price point and then it sells it back down. 2197 was the point figure. It gets to 2100.6 ticks. You can't tell me these numbers aren't important. It looks at those numbers, it trades to those numbers, and it also happens to be, this is what I pointed out to members, it has to be a significant bar over here at 2099.30. So you trade right up into that tight little zone right there. As it trades up into that zone, right, reverses right at it and comes back down, closes down here. Good, yeah, it's good. Did what it was supposed to. Bad, Yeah, it's bad because it can't get over that price area. And so if you're bullish, you really want to see it continue on. That's not what happened. It comes back the other way. If you look at the other indexes, you have the exact same sort of picture. Here's the NASDAQ, the NDX. They all came to significant areas, NDX being the weakest one, not getting that far. And then the Russell actually has some decent strength, held on to it. The Russell was doing a different trade, and that is the Russell has been the strongest. This is a bullish retest regenerate zone. So far, the Russell got under it on Friday, but actually held and pushed back up today. That says that, small aberration. Yeah, we got under it, but yes, we're right there, and they didn't get any follow through to the downside. So the Russell, in my opinion, is still trying to be bullish for you. What's the strongest? The Russell. What's next? S&P. Then NASDAQ and NDX is the weakest. Why is NDX the weakest? It's the big caps. It's the biotechs. All of those struggling mightily, and they can't get anything going. If I look over at the sectors, you're going to see on every sector today these reversals. Here's a reversal on the ITB. If you look at the IBB, same sort of thing. Push up, right back down, right? Most of them get over and stay over, but they all trade back down into the prior bar, or almost into the prior bar. The stronger ones held out of it. Here's the IYT. Warner comes out. Warner Enterprises trucking company comes out after the bell, warns, says that the trucking sector is soft. I suspect the IYT is going to feel the brunt of that. But if you just walk down the list here, every one of these sectors up, back down, they leave reversals. Almost all of them are hanging men type reversals, suggesting that this market simply isn't ready to try and break out still. So you've been consolidating for a long time, but even with the consolidation, you still can't get the breakout. If we move overseas real quick, over there you had the big moves in the European markets, and those moves, you have to view them in the context of what was going on, and that is that you just had 10% losses on the way down, and now you're bouncing back up into an area, where you're taking that 10% loss and you're bouncing back up 3.5%, 4%. So 3.5% today, big spike up. Is it great? Yeah, it's great. Did you do something important? Yeah, in a way you did. You got back over some bearish retest regenerate zones that were broken on the end of the week last week. There's two nested ones here. So to get back over that says that, hey, this direction that had started to take place, right, which is the bearish direction, you can see it here with the arrow, that direction no longer is that way. We're probably sideways again. And so, Europe is seemingly telling us that the Brexit is not going to happen. And if you look past that and you look over at, say, the markets, the OX markets, and go and look at the British pound, and we'll use the proxy, the FXB, since we have volume on it, you've got a 5% move in 3 days. So let me get that chart up here so we can see it. And if you look at it, 5% up, 3 days. You close out down here, or actually you trade down to 137. You close it over 143, almost 144 today. That's almost a 5% move in a very short period of time, which is a reflection of just how much uncertainty there is with Brexit. On the weekly chart, it's a bullish engulfing, and so it looks to me like what you've got going here is this thing's going to trade back up into these lows, and it's suggesting that the Brexit just isn't going to take place. And so if you're trading negatively off of Brexit, you might want to rethink your position, unless you really believe it's already priced in that they are not going to leave the Union. We had a request here to look at one stock, so let's take a look at that one. And that's the World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated. Question is, should you be buying this? And so today this looked like it was breaking out, just like a lot of stocks today. And so you're breaking over, or at least attempting to break over, two swing point highs. You have a big wide price spread, high volume bar back here on the March 28th. Another one here. You trade up to both of them last week on Wednesday, a little spike in volume. You trade over it today, back underneath it, right? Can't get over it. And so this bar still, in my opinion, right, what's happening here is this bar is still controlling the majority of the price action. A lot of times when you see these kinds of bars, huge wide price spread, huge volume compared to everything else, that typically contains price from some period of time, and that's what it's doing. Now, within that, you have some good action going in that you're starting to see, that top being tested over and over again. Today gets over it, closes back inside of it though. Let's look at the weekly. The question here is should you be buying this on a multiple swing point breakout? I think it's just a little early to know if you're going to get it. You do have some volume coming in here though. So yeah, if you close over this on a weekly basis, yeah, you'll be breaking out on those 2 time frames. And yeah, this is really interesting when I pull it back a little bit farther. More than likely it's just a trade though, and the reason I say that is typically when you get breakdown bars like this, right, it takes a long time to come back, and you usually work your way back up to the area of the breakdown. Now the first area is here, and so a push up to that, your target would be 2086. You're trading here at about 1888. So you're talking about $2. That's $10. I mean 10%. That's not a bad move. So yeah, you could buy a breakout on this if it breaks and holds. But it's got to stick, and you need it to stick on the daily to start with, and then you definitely want it to stick on the weekly before it's over with. So that's the way this looks tonight. As far as tomorrow, you got Yellen speaking tomorrow, and again on Wednesday on the Hill. And then you got Brexit vote on Thursday that really won't get factored in until Friday in Europe. But my suspicion is that they're going to already discount that probably Thursday on the last polls that they get. And so Thursday's probably going to be the tell in terms of what's going to happen for the weekend and the Friday trade. So my guess here is volatility until then. Have yourself a good one. Thanks for joining me. Tell a friend, tell two. I'm LA. This is and was your daily NeoTA wrap. Have a great night. I'll see you next time. Good night.